In today's episode, the Daewoo Nexia. Hello, welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, the channel that brings you car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. So if you think that might interest you, then please do consider subscribing. So last few Wednesdays we've been looking at sort of the Vauxhall Mark II, sort of like related cars. Last week we looked at the Pontiac Le Mans, very much a Mark II Astra. This week we're going to look at the Daewoo, this time the Daewoo Nexia. This is going to be a second generation model, but still has those Mark II Astra relations. Anyway, let's turn to the brochure. So here it is, the Nexia, available here as a 3 and a 5-door hatchback. There's also a saloon version like the Pontiac Le Mans, like the Vauxhall Astra, but that was the Vauxhall Belmont. There is a booted version. We'll start with this one though, the 3 and 5-door hatchbacks. Daewoo, of course, was kind of like one of the lower price entries in the UK, a bit like what Skoda and Lada was doing. This was a little bit more refined, but still on those bargain basement categories. I don't really know what happened to Daewoo in the UK. Maybe someone can educate me where they went and how they fell off the market. I don't think there's any Daewoo's sold in the UK, or maybe there is, but certainly educate me on this. But yes, the Daewoo Nexia. We'll start with the text. We'll come back to these rather nice images. And weren't these Daewoo's, maybe not the Nexia, but certainly I remember early on, weren't they sold in at the Halfords branch, which was always a little bit odd, but I'm sure there were some great deals. Anyway, mustn't waffle, let's have a look at the text. It tells us whether you choose the 4-door saloon or 3 and 5-door hatchbacks, you'll find one of Nexia's greatest virtues lies under the bonnet. Top models boast a smooth and responsive state-of-the-art 1.5 DOHC engine. This twin cam power unit boasts a lightweight aluminium cylinder head with 16 valves to deliver a broad surge of power and improved torque characteristics. Efficient engine breathing also provides excellent fuel economy. Other models feature a fuel-injected 1.5 SOHC engine, giving strong and reliable performance. Like the twin cam, the SOHC engine has multi-point fuel injection and the latest electronic engine management technology to give optimum performance at all times. With Nexia, you can also choose between a manual 5-speed or an advanced electronically controlled 4-speed automatic transmission system. The manual version has hydraulically operated clutch for light and precise operation. The electronically managed automatic delivers a super smooth shift that is difficult to detect and provides an excellent balance between acceleration and economy. All in all, Nexia provides a new benchmark for performance and safety in a compact saloon. Definitely a car to make your heart beat faster. A little bit of an unusual ending there, because I think really these were more sold on value. Anyway, let's look at the images. A little bit of a showing there of a 3-door example. Actually, I kind of like moved away and came back to it because most of these images are very high spec models, and then this is a very tiny image, and sadly it's falling on the crease, so it isn't the best image like a lot of these images are in car brochures. But this is properly poverty spec, isn't it? It's a real poverty spec 3-door model. We don't even get wheel trims on that at this late stage, and obviously no front fog lamps on there, no sunroof of course. So yeah, you could get real poverty spec models, but I think probably the right thing to do with these was to get the poverty spec model for a real cheap car, because really they are sold on price anyway. A little look at the electric window switches. Obviously This looks like a quite high spec model and a 5-door, I would assume. Bit of a headrest and a speaker. It looks like, is it on the parcel shelf? Maybe that's showing. And then the dials, and then we've got the stereo system, bit of a cassette player that's branded Daewoo. This sort of control system, yeah, it's pretty basic, isn't it? But I still even today think that was peak controls for your heater and your fan, etc., because you never needed to look down to do that. It was always like such a logical position and so easy to turn those dials, and then this spoils it all, didn't they? But anyway, another image to come. Nexia from the rear. Wasn't a bad looking car overall, actually, and obviously a handy hatchback. I don't think it was quite as nice looking as the original Mark II Astras, but nevertheless, not a bad looking car, and I'm sure there were some bargains. So badge in, we can see the Nexia and Daewoo just below it, and then if I move the camera around, if you don't mind me just hand moving that camera, we can see this one's a 1.5i GTX. Sounds a pretty high spec model. Twin cam, 16 valve at a time, writing twin cam, and certainly 16V on the back of the cars meant something, and you're like, ooh, twin cam, 16 valve, how fancy. And then, like I said at the start there's also the 4-door saloon version, the model with a bit of a boot. I don't know, this particular image is a strange one for me memory-wise, because I never knew anyone who had a Nexia 4-door saloon, but as soon as I looked at this picture, it kind of like brought back memories. I think one of the neighbours, had one of these in that exact same colour. Anyway, let's have a look at the text, we'll come back to the images. It is strange, isn't it, how you kind of like see a car picture, whether you're looking on the internet or through car brochures or wherever you're looking, and it's kind of like a bit of a forgotten car like these Nexias are. And it kind of like brings back memories, and you know, Quarterlight is all about those memories, but it's amazing how a simple picture can bring you back. Anyway, Nexia is a car designed to appeal to your heart as well as your head. When you first catch sight of one, you can't help but be swayed by Nexia's modern curves and individual styling. Bit of a strange little thing, that, isn't it? I don't think anyone was swayed and thought, oh, look at Nexia's modern curves and individual styling, because obviously Mark II Astra's going back to what, 84 or so. So yeah, maybe not quite true. It tells us, but on closer inspection, you'll be equally taken by its sheer practicality. On the outside, Nexia boasts a smooth, sleek appearance that points to its excellent aerodynamic qualities. Look closer and you'll notice, sorry for knocking the camera there, practical details on many models, from body coloured door handles to front fog lamps. But it's only once you sit inside that you'll discover all that Nexia has to offer, for it boasts far more in the way of creature comforts than you would expect from a car in its class. Besides a high quality stereo and luxury carpeting, available equipment will include electric windows, central locking and power assisted steering. It's funny, isn't it? It's not that long ago, but you know, if you looked at the first Mark II Astras, if it had all that kitted, wow, you'd be like, wow, this car is kitted out, and then it became just sort of second nature to have those features on there. Anyway, Nexia doesn't stint on safety measures either. Well, I would hope not. Every side door boasts ultra high strength steel bars to protect occupants in the event of side impact. Deformation zones in front and rear are designed to absorb crash forces, and an advanced anti-lock braking system and driver's airbag are available, with additional protection afforded by seat belt pretensioners. We have 3 body types to choose from, including 4-door saloon, pictured here, or 3 or 5-door hatchbacks, shown over leaf. Your only problem is choosing which Nexia to have. Here is the rear of the 4-door saloon, of course. This is the GLX version, apparently. Car brochures always like to show you a high-spec model, don't they? And then you walk in and buy the base model. Bit of a look at the rear lighting design. Interesting one, isn't it? It almost looks like a North American lights, but these would have been sort of like amber coloured indicators inside on the white outside lenses, giving it that sort of appearance. And then of course we've got the fog lamps below. A little look at the engine bay and the 16V badge. A little bit of how the gauges looked, not particularly very inspiring really overall on the inside, but there it is. It's got a rev counter, what more can you want? And then the Nexia from the front end. This one's also got, if I can move the camera a little bit, a bit of a sunroof on there as well. So yeah, they were nicely specs. Obviously they're like a price leading type vehicle. Some bargains to be had. Cheap way to get into a new car. Although, you know, second-hand values plummeted, of course, like all these bargain basement cars did. Daewoo really didn't have much of a badge. Really just represented value in the UK. But yeah, nice to see this version and how they moved it on in this sort of like second generation model. Like I said, not a bad looking car. I think it's very much a forgettable car though overall. When was the last time you saw a Nexia? And if you all want, please do comment on that. I'm sure they were a good car actually. I'm sure they lasted reasonably well. I don't remember any sort of horror stories overall, but that is the Nexia. These cars I'm picking out in here, the text on them is just brochure waffle. It doesn't really tell you anything, does it? And there isn't any spec information. It's actually from a full range car brochure. It says the biggest car company you've never heard of. Daewoo. That is an unusual thing to put on the front of your car brochure, isn't it? The biggest car company you've never heard of. Yeah, I don't think that's pretty good marketing. Great image though. I do like the scene on the front. So yeah, this is from a full range brochure. So I think we will return to this at some point to see the other model in the range, because they are interesting cars, and we've certainly, me personally, I've kind of like forgotten about them and was only really remembered when I started to look at these Mark II Astras again. Talking about the Mark II Astra, I think we'll actually have a look at that Mark II Astra brochure next week. This one is from 1984, so a very early one from an Astra. So next Wednesday we'll look at that. The new Astra, top of the class by design. Obviously I prefer the original Astra, the Mark II Astra I should say. There's something about it, isn't it? When they went, it was such a big change from the Mark I when it went all curvy. But yeah, we'll look at that in more detail. It's a pretty intense and big brochure considering it is only for one model of car, but there is quite a good range of cars for the Mark II at this time. So we'll go through that one. A lot of our brochure videos we've been doing have been shorter ones like today. I think this will make up for it. This is probably going to be a 30-minute video. There's a lot of information in there, spec figures and that. So that should be a good one for next week. So look forward to that. But yes, thank you for watching today's episode on the Daewoo Nexia. If you remember these, if you own one, jot your experience in the comments. Always love reading personal experiences or indeed general views. There's always somebody who says, horrendous car, knows nothing about them, but yeah, I welcome all types of comments. But yeah, certainly jot your personal experiences in, because that is really good stuff. Anyway, we'll end this episode by saying, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. Obviously helps the channel, but more importantly helps you keep in touch with the channel. Always nice to see those subscription numbers going up. And a little bit of a note on that, I don't get anything for you being a subscriber, to be honest with you, other than you're likely to watch more episodes. But like I say, it's just nice to see the numbers rise. So like I said, do consider becoming a subscriber. It is always free, that. Down the bottom here, we'll put a couple of different car brochures on. Maybe we'll do the Pontiac Le Mans down there, because it didn't get many viewers, and I was surprised by that, because I thought people might have been interested in that relation with the Mark II Astra. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. We'll see you again very soon. All the best, and goodbye.